Hello, thank you for joining me once again. Today we are going to talk about another software synth, or soft synth as some people say, by a collective called TAL, and this is the Noisemaker synth. This one's very basic, but it can be complex just like all the others that if you really dive in deep. First we're going to talk about what creates the sound of this synthesizer, which is of course the oscillators. This has two oscillators. Here's oscillator 1 and oscillator 2. You can choose which type of wave you want for each oscillator. It automatically goes to saw, so I'm going to change this one to a pulse, which is actually like a square wave. And you can, when you change it to the pulse or square wave, you can change the pulse width. So how? Okay, and then you can detune the. Actually, we have oscillator 2 down. This is the master control where you control. I'm going to turn up oscillator 2 so we can hear them both together more. And then I'm going to tune this one just a little bit. Put it out of tune, you get that warble. So you can fine tune each one, or bring up the F. You can change this to a sine wave. Turn down oscillator 1 on the master. Just a sine wave. I'm actually going to come up an octave here. Buzz. So you can, this is the master mix where you can mix how much of each oscillator you want. You can, once again, choose from a saw, pulse, or noise here. And then on oscillator 2, you have a little bit more saw, pulse, triangle, sine wave, or noise. So let's hear what the triangle sounds like on this one. I'm going to turn oscillator 1 down on the master. Just listen to the triangle. Saw, square, pulse, sine, and then the noise, of course. So I'm going to mix that back in, and I'm going to put this back to, not pulse, I had this one on pulse, excuse me. And then, this is our master volume. You can put in the subtones that were already in there, which I believe is an octave below the oscillators. It just adds those subharmonics. You can add a ring modulator too. And then you can fine tune the master, transpose if you're tuning and it gets out of tune or whatever. You can put it in whatever key you need. The portamento, once again, is, you can hear the difference in between each note, and then when I turn the portamento up, it slides. Right now I have it in mono. This can be up to 6 voices. And moving on, we're going to go to the LFO, which stands for low frequency oscillator. And it's where you can create the different effects. It's basically like a slow moving oscillator that creates, you know, tremolo or vibrato, which both we can explain. You can assign each LFO to where it's going, essentially. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to assign this to the filter, and I'm going to turn the rate up and the amount. Sorry. So the filter has an ADSR that you can adjust, which again is attack, decay, sustain, and release for just like an envelope for volume. This is for the filter. Right now it's on the low pass, 24 dB. You can have low pass all the way up to 6 dB, high pass, band pass, low pass. So these are all the different options you can assign. So let's see if we go to the high pass, how that changes our sound. I don't like that at all. So we had it on 24. So the LFO you can also assign to oscillator 1. Just mess around and create some crazy sounds. I'm going to put it back on the filter. The LFO 2 does have a volume. LFO 1 doesn't, so you can create a tremolo, or excuse me, vibrato. I forget. No, tremolo is the volume. Or you can assign it to the filter as well. So all of the different parameters you can assign each LFO to and mess with the rates and how much you want to put in. And then there's another envelope filter right here. Actually, I'm going to... So I turned the attack up, making it to where the volume comes up when you attack it. If you put it down, right when I strike the key, it's immediately out of the volume. It's going to stay. This is the decay. And then release. If you turn it all the way up, it just sustains for a long period of time, even after you let go of it. The only other thing that I'm going to talk about on this, so we got our noisemakers where our sound is coming from each oscillator. Again, you can tune those. You can adjust what kind of waveform you're getting from those. The master controlling how much volume from each oscillator, including a sub, and then the master volume, the portamento, the ring mod, and then the tuning down here, how many voices, or LFOs, and where they're going, what they're assigned to. There's more to this, however, I'm just going to talk about the control, where you can add some effects down here, like a delay. Right, it's kind of an analog delay or a reverb. The size of the room, the pre-delay, all kinds of cool low pass, high pass. The velocity you can control, how sensitive your keys are. Again, pitch wheel, whether it controls the cutoff or the pitch. The master, high pass detune, vintage noise, filter drive. You can add. That's like an overdrive. So in a nutshell, that is the Noisemaker. Very simplified. There is more to it. However, we've just discussed the simple controls on it, and it's a fun little synthesizer. Thanks again for joining me, and we'll see you next time.